All right, so our next interview is Stefanie Sarofian, who's Executive Director of Brands at InMobi, which is a mobile advertising company. But she's also known in the industry as being the founder of the NewFronts. And so this is great for our conversation here about moving beyond the desktop as a platform.
Yes.
You saw brands move to online video, and you helped spark a lot of that interest and put a spotlight on it with the NewFronts. What drew you to mobile?
For all of the reasons that that my peers have been talking about, I think a number of reasons. I mean, data is the prime reason, and one of the reasons that I moved to InMobi, and it's not so much moving to mobile, but it's moving to InMobi, which is a global mobile technology company. And that's very different than a mobile ad network or some of the pure play mobile players. So I was interested in joining a company that was data driven, that differentiated itself through data, and I was finding that the more I was introducing all kinds of content, including video, to brands and helping them sort of forge their way into creating a brand narrative through video and making it engaging and immersive. I was learning that the desktop was limiting, and I wanted to get my hands on some smaller screens that I thought were more prevalent in people's lives than we were giving them credit for, and also globally prevalent. And I think also it just provided such rich data and such rich points that we could then use for targeting and for developing creative, that it opened my world 100%.
So you're saying that online desktop is more limited in terms of data than mobile. So take us through that a little bit. What's the data that's available to advertisers on mobile that's not available on the desktop?
Well, if you think about it, with mobile, whether it's tablet, or smartphones, you're moving through the consumer life/journey. It's mobile is sort of the consumer's remote control. We all use it from home to commuting to work to play to social to transactive retail experiences. So the experience is it's further stretched. You're bringing most of those devices with you everywhere you go. So there's a lot of data that can be derived from the device itself, from your location, from live feeds that you are plugging into. So there are just more detailed data points that are allowing for better creation of creative experiences. The engagement increases. And then you see that the targeting and the retargeting and all of those sort of long-term value propositions become more valuable because you've got the detail.
So how do people watch video on mobile that's different than how they watch it on other platforms? So in terms of, you can talk about, the times that they tend to watch mobile video, their level of engagement, the amount of time that how often they share those videos through social channels. I would think that you see different patterns in mobile versus desktop. Can you talk about any major differences?
Sure. I mean, we deal with video is one creative experience that we both develop and serve for our brands. So, we're talking about creative experiences from new haptics type experiences to very rich and smart advertising, which people have talked about, geo-targeting and live feeds. And video is another platform that we use, and the way we're seeing the consumption is short form, which I think somebody mentioned. People are consuming video, but they also want that transactive, more engaging experience, meaning that we've had to create overlays so that people can do something with the video. There's a huge cry for call to action within video, mobile video, because people are in a certain place, in a certain time, in a certain journey in their consumer life, and they want something that's rewarding and relevant to them. So video for video's sake is going to work to a certain extent, but we've done overlays where you can click to call, different calls to action. Look at reviews, click reviews.
And you're seeing that people are willing to engage at a level not seen on the web.
Absolutely, because the reward is richer.
Do you think it's also part of just the touch UI that you're trained to want to touch the screen?
You're touching, you're holding, you're tilting, you're moving it, you're touching it. It's really kind of an extension of your body, so it makes sense that you're going to engage more. It's up to us, though, to understand the users, understand the audience through the data that we derive and analyze so that we can create the engagement functionality that will resonate with them.
So when can we replace the pre-roll?
Very shortly.
You think so?
Yeah, I do, and I think
because it's been stubborn, right? The pre-roll has been the stubborn unit of advertising that everybody says should go away, but yet it's the most performant.
I think you're going to pre-roll will continue. I think that you're going to see something in the very near future that will start to replace it, but it won't replace it for a while. I mean, everything has its gradual shift. I think one of the topics that someone mentioned was we're going to see more custom video, so less of the reuse from other mediums. I'm all about the brand experience and brand strategy, so I really believe in taking that brand story across all channels. I don't believe in reusing media assets, though, so I think in video in particular we're going to see custom creation, very, very personalized video, sequencing of video, but carrying through that brand message.
So you think that there'll be a brand, there'll be an ad campaign, and there'll be one version for mobile platforms, another version for linear TV, another version for online, that'll have similar elements but different execution.
Yeah, if you really study the users and you study the way they're using, they're consuming the content, engaging with the content across these devices, you have to have that brand pillar that you're standing on. But then you have to make it extremely usable and utility driven and relevant for the user. And that means you've got to study the device and study their behaviors around the device, all their behaviors, and then create for those behaviors.